And what's happening, though, is that consumers remain connected to this marketplace. Consumers aren't giving up. Consumers remain optimistic, notwithstanding all the economic turmoil. They remain resilient, and in fact, technology gives them new tools that they can use to express this resilience and devise new solutions to the problems that they're facing in the marketplace today. So the question is, how do we make sense of what it is that consumers want out of this marketplace? In other words, what's the guiding principle that will give us the most help in understanding what consumers are all about in this marketplace today? And in our language, that principle is the idea of kinship. Now, I'm not going to tell you right away what I mean by kinship. I'm going to sort of tell you a little story to get to that point. And it's a story that I want to tell in three parts. I want to start by just reminding ourselves where we are with the economy, because that's the elephant in the room, and we can't really have any conversation about consumers today without first talking about the economy. We are going to have a smaller economy going forward. That's not to say that the economy isn't growing. It's just to say that the economy isn't going to be as big as we thought it was going to be back in 2005 and 2006. And we're going to have an economy that is a lot more volatile going forward, at least for the near to medium term, than anything we have experienced in the near to medium past. And in the context of these market conditions, we have new dynamics at work in the marketplace, new aspirations among consumers, and an economic tenacity that consumers are displaying that is changing what they want in the marketplace. And what that means is that growth is going to be rooted more in the concept of kinship. It is going to be more about relationships and conduct, and it is going to have a direct effect on the kind of models that we use to drive our business. Now, some of the examples I'm going to give you here today are kind of advertising examples, and I'm using those because we all like to watch ads. And so they're kind of fun and entertaining. But it's not just about the way in which we communicate through our marketing efforts. It is about the models that we use to drive our businesses and the ways in which we deliver our products and services to consumers. And so I'll come to that at the end when I talk about three sorts of models in particular. But to illustrate this idea up front, I'm going to show some ads. So let's get ready to watch some TV ads that illustrate this point about process over product. Process over product in today's marketplace. And so I want to start with, in fact, I'm going to show you three DirecTV ads in a row. We've all seen these ads, right? You know, these kind of funny tongue-in-cheek ads. What I want to show you first is an ad that DirecTV was running early last year. And I want you to ask yourself as you look at this ad, what exactly is it that DirecTV is selling? Now, I know that we all sort of watched this ad when it was on the air, and we all thought it was kind of funny and cute. But look at it with a more critical eye, and just ask yourself that question. What is it that they want consumers to buy? What is the focus that they are emphasizing in this ad?
I'm Epic Win. I push to limit every time. But DirecTV have no limit. Like having 6,000 shows and movies at no extra charge. Much inspirational. No pain. No pain.
Last year, in the middle of one of the worst recoveries we've ever seen from a recession, at least in recent memory, what is it that DirecTV was selling? They were selling Epic Win. They were selling an epic win. They were selling opulence. They were selling the luxury of an over-the-top product, 6,000 channels at no extra charge, a great value at a great price. And in other ads in this pool that they were running in that campaign at the time, they were also talking about picture quality and reliability. It was all about an emphasis on the product. It was all about the stuff they were selling. It was all about product first sold in the context of an over-the-top, opulent sort of setting. And they had several ads in this kind of opulent setting, this creative execution that they ran last year. And now, of course, we see DirecTV with a different pool of ads. And so ask yourself now, what is DirecTV selling this year? You've probably seen this ad too. Let's see if I can do this right.
When your cable company keeps you on hold, you get angry. When you get angry, you go blow off steam. When you go blow off steam, accidents happen. When accidents happen, you get an eye patch. When you get an eye patch, people think you're tough. When people think you're tough, people want to see how tough. And when people want to see how tough, you wake up in a roadside ditch. Don't wake up in a roadside ditch. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Don't wind up in a roadside ditch, they tell you. We've all seen this ad too, right? This ad from DirecTV. So what are they selling here? A roadside ditch. Is that an opulent setting? Some guy in his slobby old apartment on the couch, on hold with the cable company. Is that an opulent setting? Did they mention 6,000 channels? Did they mention a great price? Did they mention picture quality or reliability? They didn't say one thing about the product. Not one thing. What they talked about was the process. They talked about how you were treated as a customer. They talked about the conduct of the cable company versus the conduct of the promise that DirecTV is making. It was all about an emphasis on something else. And it was a something else that was very fundamentally related in this idea of process. Process as an emphasis in their advertising these days. Now, as I said at the very outset, a focus on process doesn't mean any less focus on product. It just means that process is now disproportionately important relative to what it was in the recent past. And this is not just an invention that has occurred to companies like DirecTV in the last 6 months. I'll show you some other examples here in a little bit. It's been going on now for a few years. But process doesn't displace product. Process just becomes much more important as a point of emphasis and a point of differentiation for products and services in the marketplace. Because after all, DirecTV is also running this ad in its current pool of ads, and this is probably one that you've seen as well. It's one of the newer pull outs for this campaign.
When you have cable and can't find something good to watch, you get...
I'm sorry, that is it. Wait a minute. Here we go. Sorry. I'm getting all excited.
Get depressed. When you get depressed, you attend seminars. When you attend seminars, you feel like a winner. When you feel like a winner, you go to Vegas. When you go to Vegas, you lose everything. And when you lose everything, you sell your hair to a wig shop. Don't sell your hair to a wig shop. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
So just to answer the question you're wondering is, no, I did not sell my hair to a wig shop. I do have cable, not DirecTV. But where I got confused and interrupted this ad right up front was the very point that I wanted you to look at the most, which was the guy was sitting there and he couldn't find anything to watch, right? Which is all about the product and the 6,000 channels that DirecTV promises. So it's more product, but it's not just product. It's product and this element of process in the mix of things that DirecTV is emphasizing nowadays. And this is the market shift that we see at work in our research at the Futures Company. We have gone from a marketplace dominated by product considerations, features and gizmos and status and style and luxury and design and all those product features, one that we characterize here as being sort of the focus of the past, Very important emphasis on product, some emphasis on process, because we've never completely ignored treating customers well. But now we are moving to a process that is dominated instead by process considerations. A marketplace that is less about what we get than how we get it. Less about the get and more about the getting, as I like to say. It is simply about the process by which you engage consumers in the marketplace. And in fact, it's one that we kind of illustrate in this way. No less emphasis on the product, but far more emphasis on process as a point of emphasis with consumers in today's marketplace. Disproportionately more focus on process in today's marketplace. And this, of course, is driven by the fact that we are in the midst of a transitional era in the consumer marketplace. And I like to illustrate this. I promise I'll show you some data here in just a little bit. But I like to illustrate this with a few sort of pyramids of evolution in our marketplace, to sort of borrow from Maslow, but to do it in a slightly different way. If we think about the attributes that we used to sell to consumers, our marketplace over the last several decades has gone through an evolution where it used to be mostly about material attributes, to a marketplace where for a long time all we heard about was the experience economy. And all about selling experience because material satisfactions and material attributes no longer provided sufficient differentiation among brands in the marketplace. And now we are told that we live in a world where all the important attributes are social. You know, experience has kind of evolved into a world of social features and social attributes. And what that means is that the benefits that we've been selling over the years have changed a little bit. We used to sell tangible benefits, and then with the experience economy, we also started talking about intangible benefits. And now we talk about a certain kind of intangible benefit, which is more about interactions and relationships that we have with other people. That's the benefit in this sort of social world. And what that means most importantly is that the locus of value in the marketplace has changed. We used to be able to charge extra for something that had a lot more material, tangible sorts of things associated with it. The locus of value was rooted in the product. Better products, more money. Nowadays, all products seem to be more and more at parity. And it's very difficult to justify charging more just on a product basis alone. And in fact, we've known this for a couple of decades because at least for the last 25 years, if not longer, there has been a heavy emphasis on service as an element of what we deliver to consumers. All about that sort of experience and the intangible benefits where we could find a locus of value. And today, that locus of value is more about process. It is more about relationships. It is more about conduct. It is more about social engagement in the marketplace. And it is a world in which process now predominates over product.